Hey guys, Noble today, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna have a bit more of a chilled episode. I was normally going to do the episode talking about Rise, the second part of it, but I've just been feeling tired today guys, and I need some more time to get the script together as I didn't really like my first draft, so I need to keep at it. So instead, to make up to you guys, I decided, you know what, let's have a fun video today, just talking about 5 monsters I want to see return for Monster Hunter Wilds, and 1 monster I don't want to see return to Monster Hunter Wilds. So let's get into it. So first of all, let's start off with one of my favorite monsters of all time, Drone Boss. Now, Drone Boss is such a cool monster. He's a brute wyvern for Monster Hunter 3U. I loved him ever since I first saw him. I remember I even saw him back in the day when I was playing 3U. I showed my dad Drone Boss because I thought he was just such a crazy, amazing monster that could just spin and fly. Kind of, well, not really fly, but he swells so much he's able to use the momentum to jump into the air and then come down and try to flatten you with an amazing attack. Like, I've always been interested in his moveset, even though he's a brute wyvern and he does have very slow moves as a brute wyvern normally has. His spinning move and him moving to the air like that, it just always wowed me, and I always found it fascinating and very interesting mechanics that he had when you fought. It was really cool. I liked how if you did hit him while he was spinning, if you did manage to get in and hit him while he's spinning like a ballerina, he falls over, and if you hit his humps on his back, which is his weakest spot, which is pretty cool, you destroy them, and then you kind of see some fleshy, heated, it looks like a mini volcano, to be honest, in GU at least, with the bad graphics. And I've always found it interesting that his strongest move, or his most annoying move, if you're able to stop it, you then can take advantage of his back, which I always found very interesting and very unique. So I do want to see him back. I do think he would be a nice monster. I've wanted him back for the longest of times. When it comes to his armor and weapons, they aren't anything amazing, you know, very high damage, raw damage, not very good sharpness, you know, your typical brute, blunt type of weapons, so nothing too crazy, but I think he would be a fantastic fight, and he's a very unique monster in my opinion, so I would love to have him back. Now, I was actually quite lucky when it came to Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak. Most of my favorite monsters I was hoping for did come back in the end, like, you know, Valstratch, Lucian Naga Cougar. Those are monsters that I've wanted back for a long time. They came back. One of the other ones that didn't come back though, and I thought it would have been an amazing time for Sunbreak specifically, was Agnaktor. Agnaktor is one of my favorites from 3U. As you can see, as I'm a 3U stand, so 2 of my favorites are coming from 3U. Agnaktor, such an amazing fight for me, even back then in Tri. It's one of my, I think it's probably the monster I fought the most back in Tri. I always found it fascinating, him going through the ground like this lava shark. It was always cool seeing him just dive through and having to run about and be careful of his attacks, and he's just very vicious, and his lava attacks are very unique. He's a really cool Leviathan monster. I've always liked what he has. His tail swipes, he's when he's drilling down, coming up to the ceiling and coming down, it's like, wow. It's just definitely, when you fight with people, it's just like, where he's gonna go, no one knows. And I've always found it interesting fighting him. It's always been really cool. Now, one of the other things that I like about him, I like monsters that have some type of weakness if you take advantage of it. When he comes from lava, he becomes softened. It's easier for you to hit, but if he's on land for too much, the lava hardens on his body, making it some type of armor, and when you hit him, you're gonna bounce off. Pretty much at any sharpness. What you need is Fencer, or now they probably call it, what's it called? I don't know what they call it now these days, so I can't remember. But back in the day, it was Flencher, Mind's Eye, probably they call it now. So you can hit him, and yeah, you don't bounce off. But also, if you hit him with a fire weapon, it actually makes the lava soften again, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, he's not weak against fire. But one thing that was really cool is if you use a gun lance and you shoot on him, because gun lance has the hint of fire damage, it actually turns it soft. Which is always really cool. I always like to kind of see that type of mechanic in the game. But I don't normally gun lance him. I normally longsword him or lance him. But mostly longsword in GU. But yeah, I've always liked his fight, his mechanics, his lava breaths. They've always been good. And one other thing that I didn't mention is if you hit his arms, his front arms and his back legs, when they're softened and you break them, even if they're hardened, if you manage to break them, he will tip over and it'll give you a chance to hit him. And he has 4, so if you hit them, you know, because you get 4 times to hit him over and to get your time in, which was really cool, definitely, because he's a quite aggressive, fast monster at times. He's surprisingly fast. You don't imagine he can be that fast, but the way he kind of just crawls on land and on the ground, like, he's fast. He actually moves quite well, so it's a way to slow him down, to get him to stop moving. And yeah, I've always liked that. Now, his weapons are pretty damn good. I've always liked them. GU specifically, his weapons are great. His longsword, his lance, I've always liked the look of them. The damage is good, sharpness is good. Normally has some crit. His armor hasn't always been fantastic. I think it has like attack, hot-blooded and GU or something like that. They've been good. They've been good. And the armor's always looked good. It's always looked nice, at least. So I've always enjoyed that. So I would definitely like him to come back. I know there was big problems in Sunbreak because we got Magma Almudron. People didn't like Magma Almudron. People would have preferred Agnactor. I would have preferred Agnactor, but I think Magma Almudron is a fine monster. He's good. Like, I don't think he's a bad monster. I think he's much better than normal Almudron. Even though I don't hate normal Almudron, I think he has a lot of nice, interesting KO end game moves, and I find it interesting. You know, I find it interesting when monsters have more than just one. You know, you don't dodge this, you're gonna die move. So yeah, it's cool. But Agnactor, definitely want to see him back. Love him. One of the big baddies from Tri back in the day for me specifically. And I just loved hunting him. There was this one quest, I think in 3U, where there's a hunter for hunting 3 of them. I think it's hunting 3 of them, or maybe 3 is the max I could get in the time limit back then. Playing on solo online in the Volcano, and yeah, it was just good. I just love fighting him. It's just an amazing fight. And then obviously you have the ice version of him, stuck in 3U. Will he come back? Hopefully eventually, because I love the armor. And the armor had guard up, it had fencer, and it had room for one more, you know, skill. If you had good decorations, you get one more skill, and that was like a Lance's dream. Fencer, underrated skill for Lance back in the day, because if you bounce off, that's the problem. You don't want to bounce off, because Lance bouncing off, it takes so long to recover. So nah, I've always loved it. So yeah, good monster. Now the next one is one that's been rumored that people have been hoping for a long time. Now it's Gammoth. Now Gammoth, from Monster Hunter Generations, the reason I want him in isn't because I think it's a fantastic fight, because I don't think it's a fantastic fight. I think it's an okay fight. The reason I want him in because I think he deserves retribution. He's the last of the Fatal 4 to not be in the 5th gen. Actually, he wasn't even in the 5th gen. I can't say it was the last one because all the others were. He was the only one not in the 5th gen. We had Glavenus in Iceborne. We had Mizu in Rise. We had Astalos in Sunbreak. And Gammoth was nowhere to be seen. He was missing. Fang Beast, I believe, which is always interesting because from looking at him, you'd imagine he's a brute, but he's actually a Fang Beast. I'm pretty sure my information is correct, but you know, you never know. Yes, I was correct. He is a Fang Beast, and yeah, I think he deserves to come back, being the only one of the Fatal 4 who hasn't returned. I don't know if we're going to get the rest of the Fatal 4 in this game. That would be cool to finally get a return. You know what? Maybe they might bring Gammoth back in this game. In the next game, all the Fatal 4 comes back. We get the 3 lords from Sunbreak. And we can finally have this battle between the 3 lords and the Fatal 4 that everyone's been discussing on my Discord about, which has been kind of funny, kind of interesting. In fact, I want you guys down below to let me know who do you think wins out of the 3 lords and the Fatal 4. I'm on the 3 lords because I think Malzeno is just too strong. Elder Dragons are just too strong. Even if Gorogome and Lunagoron, they'll struggle 1v1s, or maybe they're able to do 1v1s. I don't think they can 2v1 Malzeno, in my opinion. Definitely the Krios and all this other stuff, like, it's just too powerful. But never mind that, let's go back to Gammoth. Yeah, Gammoth, the problem with Gammoth, a lot of the moves miss. Definitely has big moves, very small, slow. So when it moves about, it's very hard. Definitely in high rank, if you're hitting behind him, he can't do anything to you, basically. He has to turn around and it's very slow. But in G rank, he can sit on you, which is, you know, it can do a bit. But Gammoth needed a bit more, like, attacks, wide range attacks, ice attacks. Now, Elder Frost is a much better version of him. I think Elder Frost hits correctly, has the right moves, is able to do stuff more efficiently. Overall, I've always found Elder Frost as a better monster. A lot Gammoth done well, at least. And I think Gammoth deserves it, definitely, in this next game. And it would be really cool as a packed monster as well, because Gammoths, normally they're females. We only see the females. Males have not been seen. Apparently you can't hunt males. I can't remember the reason behind it, but they have, you know, they travel in like packs, so maybe it would be cool seeing little Gammoths. I don't really want to hunt any little Gammoths though, because that kind of feels a bit, I kind of feel bad about that. And I'm wondering about these packs. Like, I don't want to hunt like little small monsters, you know, that's going to be scary. Like, I feel a bit bad hitting these little babies. Yeah, I'm going to feel bad about that. I don't know if that's going to be in the game much, but you know, if they're trying to get realism in, you know, I guess you're going to have to allow us to kill the babies as well, which is rough. Enough of that though. Yeah, Gammoth, interesting monster. I would love it back. People have been rumoring about it. I don't know if I believe it by rumors. I just think it would be nice because C is the last one out of the 84 to come back. So yeah, it'll be cool to have Gammoth. Now, when it comes to weapons and armor looks cool. G-Rank Gammoth armor looks cool. You got some nice long cape and all this stuff. I do like it a lot. The weapons are pretty good. I've never really used them. Apparently the Lance of Elder Frost is super good. I've never used them. I've never really used Gammoth weapons before. Never planned on it. I have the Lance and the Greatsword, which looks pretty nice. But it's a typical big monster, like I said, low affinity, not the best sharpness, but I think it has the right sharpness and good and high attack. That's the main thing. That's the main thing that the weapons got. Armor, I think it has like what? Cold-blooded? I don't know what else it has, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's good armor. It's honestly good armor, good weapon, interesting monster. So yeah, I would like to see it come back. He deserves it. Next, I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with me. Another monster from 3U, Nibblesnarf. Nibblesnarf, I've always been fascinated with. I've always loved Nibblesnarf. Nibblesnarf, being in the desert, weak against ice. His weapons are water. He does have water blight if he shoots you with his big sand breath beam. Don't really know how that works, but it's a cool attack. Definitely when he turns and does it, it's pretty damn cool. Can't lie. Now, one of the greatest mechanics Nibblesnarfs have, and not many monsters have, is the bomb mechanic. When you sonic bomb him, he's one of the few monsters that actually use sonic bombs on these days. Like, I always like monsters that have unique mechanics. I didn't even mention it with Nactor. Nactor, you can do sonic bombs to get him off the ground when he's not enraged. Nibblesnarf, you can do it whenever. And it's really cool as if you place a bomb and then sonic bomb him, he'll jump up and eat the bomb. And if he eats a bomb, even when he's running on, like, trying to bite you on the ground, if he eats a bomb, the bomb blows up in his mouth. He takes damage. He gets in a state where you can fish him out of the ground, and then you get to attack him. I think that's cool. I think the animation is cool, and it's just a nice mechanic for the monster. I've really enjoyed it. Some people don't like Nibblesnarf. I don't know why. I've always found him interesting. He doesn't have a roar. He's a land sharkish type of monster. I always found him nice. You only find him in desert, so maybe I guess he'll be in the first map, which would be cool. And I always find it interesting. He also has to hide when you first come into the map to find him. He also has to hide under like sand pillars, and it's quite obvious where he is because he's kind of like breathing. So you can see his breath. He's not very good at hiding. He's not very good at hiding at all, which is fine. Maybe in this new game, he'll be better at hiding if they do add him in. Okay, his gameplay, you know, it's a lot of charging around, tries to bite you. Maybe that's why people don't like him. His gameplay isn't like too crazy, very simple, bites and charges and spins around sometimes and stuff like that. Goes down, tries to, you know, bite you from under the ground. But if you use sonic bombs and use bombs correctly, you can abuse him. But after a while, they stop being as effective. I think he gets some resilience to the bombs in his mouth. And then after that, his weapons and armor. His armor, I think his armor has things like capture on it. I actually can't remember what his armor has on it, actually. I actually can't remember. But I know his weapons are pretty good. They're always like military weapons, like, and they always have weird names, but they're pretty cool. Like the Lance looks like it has some grenades on it. The Greatsword looks like it has like a clip, I guess. And yeah, no, his weapons look good. Water, like I said, good high, a water element, decent roar, a lot of slots. So yeah, good overall armor. I mean, weapons, armor, I have no idea. Haven't really looked it up, but I love him. I think he'll be great to have in this next game. Last of my what I want list, before we talk about what I don't want to see, is Najarwala. Najarwala, a snake ribbon, practically the only snake ribbon in the game apart from the subspecies of Najarwala, was introduced in Monster Hunter 4. Najarwala is a really cool monster. I like him. Big, colorful, nice yellow and green hide. Very cool looking monster. A lot of roars, high pitched roars, and he has this interesting mechanic where he shoots out his shells. When they hear like shockwaves, like roars or any other type of shockwaves he uses, the shells rattle and then they explode. And if you're near them, you're going to get hit and you're very likely going to get stunned. I think it's almost 100% getting stunned, or maybe it might be 100%. And then when you're stunned, well, you're stunned, you're in trouble. Yeah, I've always liked the monster. I've always liked what he does. Very interesting monster, and interesting deal. Yeah, he's very good. He's very interesting. Now, when it comes to fight overall, it is a bit hard because he has a lot of hard spots. Like his tail is hard. Hitting his head is very difficult because it's always up high. So normally you hit like his feet, which are very weak to ice. He's weak to ice. He has no element himself. But although he does do status, he does stun a lot, which I guess is a form of status, and he also does paralysis. Now, one of the cool mechanics about him, and you're not going to see in the gameplay because I dodge it quite often, is he tries to circle you, encase you within his body like a snake, surround you, and then he has to bite you. And if he does manage to paralyze you while he's doing that, he will then circle in, come up from underground, and do big damage on you as you're paralyzed on the ground, which is a cool mechanic. It really showcases what a snake does. A snake kind of judges its food. It doesn't kill it straight away. It judges its prey. It waits till they're paralyzed into the weak, and then it strikes. And that's what Najdrawala does really well. And I've always liked that about the monster. I think it would fit in this game. Normally you see it in like foresty areas, so it would probably be in the second area so far. Now his weapons are very much paralysis. I have his longsword in Monster Hunter GU. It has low roar, it has okay-ish sharpness and pretty good paralysis. So weapons aren't the best, but they're alright. They're alright for what they are. I'm hoping he gets some good weapons in game if he does come. I just like Najdrawala overall, so I think it would be great to have. But yeah, let me know what you guys think below. And if you don't like this list, let me know 5 monsters that you want anyway. And if you do like this list, let me know anyway, because I want to hear what you guys have to say. Lastly, the one I don't want to see, and I know a lot of people want to see this. I don't want to see Laggy. I don't want to see Laggy in this game. And you might be like, what? Nova? I thought you loved Laggy. Yeah, Laggy is my 3rd favorite monster. Before Magnum Marlowe and Valstrax, he was my 1st favorite monster from Tri. I loved the Laggy. I remember trying to fight Laggy with no armor back when I first started Tri. You know that quest in Tri when you see Laggy's in the water and just, you know, they say run away from him. I was like, nah, I'm gonna fight him. I tried to fight him. I got destroyed straight away. I was like, shit. You know, training, trying to finally get up to Laggy, and then eventually when I got to him, I didn't even know you can make new armor. I was just upgrading the first iron armor you get. I was just upgrading that, and then I fought him with a lance with that upgraded armor, and I was wondering why I'm taking so much damage and why it's so difficult. I had no idea what Monster Hunter was about back then. And I killed him, and I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. I've always loved Laggy. You know, going to Freyu, Ivory Laggy, Abyssal Laggy, like some of my favorite monsters. The reason though that I don't want Laggy is because I believe he deserves to be in water. Now, if they brought Ivory Laggy, which is the subspecies, he's the one mostly on land. He does go in water, but he's mostly on land. I would be fine with that. But I think it would be out of place. I think normal Laggy needs to come back first. And I think he needs to be in a game where they have underwater combat. I don't think he should come into a game where they don't have underwater combat again. They did it in Generations because Generations is a celebration game. So they can kind of, you know, go against the rules a bit. They can kind of, you know, do things that are outside the norm. But I mean, they could put him in the second map. The second map does have a lot of water. I'll give you that. Like Ulfduna. Ulfduna obviously is a monster that deserves to be in water, like pretty much all the time. And somehow they get him to work on land. But I just think the history of Laggy and where Laggy came from and what he is as a monster, I think it would be best if he stays in the water this time. Definitely because he's got subspecies which is meant to be on land more often in the first place. Like what they did in Generations, a lot of the lightning moves he uses on land comes from Ivory Laggy. Normal Laggy didn't do that on land. Because there were times when normal Laggy was on land, but it's very rare. Not very rare, I wouldn't even say that. It's just not as much as the normal Laggy, as the Ivory Laggy, sorry. Ivory Laggy is pretty much on land, like probably at 95% of the time. He only goes in water when he's about to die to get to his cave. Normal Laggy, he's in water and near water 70-80% of the time. He's near water or in water. And then he's on land for a bit, but when he's on land, he's only around water areas anyway. So I just feel like it will kind of not do him well if he's out of water. I know they could do it and we'll probably accept it, but honestly, maybe this is just me and I'm being a bit selfish, but I would like to keep him locked away until Underwater comes back and then add him into the game. Now, I know he was planned initially for World, or they'll kind of play an idea for him for World, but in some demo you see him pop out to water fighting the Anjanath or something like that. It never happened. It never happened in Rise or Sunbreak. And I don't want it to happen in this game. I want them to wait until water comes so we can see him in his glory. You know, we can see him in his glory. But I mean, that's just me. Let me know what you guys think down below about that. If you don't like the idea, fair enough. Now guys, his armor and weapons. His armor, great. His armor has always had some type of elemental stuff, and GU has also stamina recovery. And he also has guard, which is pretty interesting. Not something that you expect. I can't remember what I had him for you. His weapons have always been good. Nice lightning, very cool looking weapons. Good roar, good lightning. Probably like one slot or two. Not the greatest of sharpness. It's like good overall weapons. Lightning weapons. He has a lance. G has many lances. He has a great sword. His great sword always looks fantastic. I've always liked his great sword. He has hammer. His hammer looks amazing. His hunting on looks amazing. Damn, so many looking amazing weapons and armor, to be honest. Like, he's always been really good. So I guess, yeah, when he does come back, if he does come back in this game, he's gonna look good, like, no doubt. but what they do is gameplay justice to what it originally is, the lightning slash water monster in the water. I don't know, because yes, it was really cool because he's a lightning monster in the water. It's like, what is this? And you get to see shells lighting up as he uses attacks, and it's just, it just seems so fantastic. And then the water bubbles around him as he's using his attacks back in the day. And with the water comments, he can give you water blight as well. Yeah, I just liked him. Honestly, I just liked him a lot. So yeah, I mean, that game's great. But that's it from me, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know what you think about everything I said today and what you want to see as well for Wilds. We've got the demo very soon. Can't wait for that, and I hope to see you guys there. All right, I'll catch you guys next time. See you.